City of Stevens Point Transportation Commission meeting, recorded November 8, 2021.
(4:45). I will call the meeting to order. Talon, did you want to run the, oops.
Yep.
Okay.
Chair listening.
Here.
Alder Leek.
Alder Leek is no longer on the committee. He stepped down, and now I'm on as an alder.
Okay. All right. So Alder Christensen.
Here.
All right. Greg Keppel.
Hello.
Alder Kneebone.
Here.
Tom Bertram.
Present.
Carolyn Peterson.
Here.
And I think that's everybody then.
Okay. Well, then we'll move to agenda item number 2, which is approval of the September 13, 2021 minutes. Those were included in the packet that Talon sent out. Are there any questions for Talon?
No, I'm good. I was just wondering. I took his. Oh. No, I'm good.
So it sounds like there's no questions. We can take a motion for approval.
I'll move approval.
Was that you, Greg?
Alder Christensen.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Carolyn seconded.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second for approval of the September minutes. Any further questions before we call the motion for vote? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, those opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll now move to agenda item number 3, approval of the September and October 2021 financial claims reports. Those were also included in the packet from Talon. Did anyone have any questions on those 2 reports? Okay, I don't hear any questions coming forward, so.
Kneebone will approve the September and October financial claims report.
Who made that motion, Tom?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Kneebone will second.
Okay, Alderbone Kneebone. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, take the motion forward. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. So now we'll move to agenda item number 4, which is approval to move forward with the 2022-5311 PTAP application. Talon, were you going to speak on that?
Yeah, I can speak on that. That is our main state and federal funding. With the 5311 includes our fixed route and paratransit, and then those numbers you see come through the city budget will all be reflected in this application. So that is our main source of funding there.
Okay. Does anybody on the commission have any questions for Talon on that?
I have a quick question. Are these grants yearly or every other year or every 5 years? Because sounds like you guys have to do a lot of work.
Yeah, they're yearly. Yep. Almost all of our grants are yearly.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, so I'm assuming you probably need a motion, so we'll entertain a motion.
I will also move to move forward with the PCAP, application for 2022, that's 5311.
Okay, so we have a motion by Carolyn,
I'll second. Kneebone.
second by Alderperson Kneebone. Okay, any further questions or discussion on the application? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the motion to vote then. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Move to agenda item number 5, which is approval of the city, county city transportation agreement, 5-year term. So that was also included in the packet, right, Talon?
Yes, correct. And to speak to that, previously we've done two-year terms, so 4 years. We were looking to extend it out for a 5-year term this time. There were major changes on the language the last time, so 2 years ago, so there are no major changes on the language this year. But yeah, if you're not familiar with the county-city merger, it kind of combined the funding to allow county and city programs to open up to more funding, and that's been growing really well. So it'll have to move through the county as well, but they seem to be in support of a 5-year term. So I'm bringing it to this commission.
Okay, and are the city lawyers looked at it?
Yes, yep. Andrews reviewed it and
Okay.
had no changes.
Is this the same one that we voted on, the key?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Didn't quite hear that question that you just answered, Talon. Could you repeat that, please?
Yes, Carolyn was asking if this is the same thing we voted on at the Transportation Coordinating Committee, which is the county's transportation board, and it is.
Yeah, got it.
To that end, I'd say it's probably pretty important to recognize that we're just trying to change the term here, because trying to look at any other language would involve a lot of coordinating that really nobody is interested in doing right now. And we've gone through the first couple terms of this with success, and both the city and the county are happy. So just lengthening the terms out means we have to act on this less frequently is really what it comes down to.
Okay. Good information to know. So if nobody has any further questions, we can take a motion.
Oh, so. To accept it.
Okay, motion by Carolyn,
Second, by Christensen.
okay. All right, any further discussions or questions? Okay, hearing none, then we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor of approving the county city transportation agreement for a 5-year term, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion passes. All right, we'll move to agenda item number 6, which is approval of the purchase of Passio Go app.
All right. Yeah, so I did include 3 price quotes in your agendas, just to show you that this is something we've been researching and looking at for a long time. The purchase of the app or the add-on is to give the public access to a live bus tracking app, as well as a live bus tracking website. And then it also provides some other things like ADA call outs, to where instead of relying on a driver to do a call out, it automatically tells you where you are on the bus route. And then a lot of behind the doors benefits to it as well, with the information that comes back, passenger tracking, pickups, drop-offs, things like that. Now, we did apply for a grant, or we are applying for a grant in 2022 that includes this. Why I'm bringing it to the commission is because you guys already approved that in the 5310, is because we won't know what that grant is going to bring until the middle of next year, and it's something that we wanted to move on right away. So the biggest cost here is this $8,000 for the initial cost of it, which hopefully will be covered 80% under that grant. But regardless of that, we think it's still something that we need for our system. And then the biggest benefit to this, I know Passio, one of the big benefits with Passio is they're merging with our current software. So it keeps things simple for us not to have to switch to a different software. Right now we use EcoLane, really good for paratransit. So that Passio is going to go well with that, but it's also going to give us some cost savings because we won't have to pay for additional licenses. We'll just take those vehicles and move them over. So you might look at Transloc and see that it's around a similar price point, but ultimately those licenses we're already paying for with EcoLane. With Transloc, we'd have to add them onto our buses. With Passio, we can just move them over. So we're really talking about the initial cost of the system.
So this is in addition to EcoLane?
This is in addition to EcoLane. So it's going to provide some stuff on fixed route that we weren't getting, like you'll be able to see where the bus is live and not have to call and ask when the next one's going to be there.
I thought that EcoLane did that.
It doesn't for our fixed route.
Well, I think it's definitely something that is good to have.
I just throw one more thing out there, and that is that, Talon identified that there's a good potential source of funding for 80% of this, but the fact of the matter, if there wasn't, we'd still be looking at this, speaks to the utility of it all. And we did have a conversation for any of you who get into grant funding often enough. There isn't exactly a but-for statement that we need to worry about here, so that if we do this, it doesn't leave us ineligible for that funding if we go ahead with it ahead of time. So
You anticipated my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
It seems to me in this day and age of instant communications that this would be just a thing that most of the riders would want. I mean, if a bus is going to be 5 minutes late, it makes a difference when it's 20 below zero. So having access to that, I think, is critical for the system going forward. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a big grant.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, and that's, you know, we're trying to kind of bring down those barriers to using transportation. So right now we're on Google Maps. With the software, it's going to give us a lot better feed onto Google Maps. So people want to pick up their phone and put it in and see, oh, well, maybe the bus is faster, you know, maybe, you know, you see that option there. So this will add us on to Bing Maps, Apple Maps, some other map providers as well.
So you don't need like a special app.
No, you don't. Google is the only like big provider that's giving live bus tracking at right now, and this will give us that ability too, which we don't have. But also it'll work on Apple Maps and Bing as well for direction.
Okay. And most of the bus services that are our size already have this or moving to this, right, Talon?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, it's definitely something that we're, you know, we've been looking at a lot of systems, asking a lot of other systems what they're doing, but yeah, any comparable, you know, from Shoreline in Sheboygan, like I mean, all the middle range ones have it, Appleton, Green Bay, but you know, we're kind of in the middle of the pack, I would guess you'd say, for rural systems. On rolling out these technologies.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that when we did purchase EcoLane, when that first started up in 2018, they really were focused on their paratransit. That was what they were known for. Their software was for paratransit service, not fixed route. So we were able to incorporate a little bit of the fixed route so we can get ridership numbers and a little bit of data, but not quality data. So by them merging, that gives us this capability to start getting a lot better information that we weren't really getting. As far as the bus app, yeah, that's something we definitely, most systems have it that are middle systems to upper systems have those capabilities already. We're just trying to get ahead of the game to ourselves so we can give once again, we're getting too many calls that would come in and asking, especially in the winter time, that says, where's the bus right now? I would much rather have them be able to wait inside and come out the last second knowing that the bus is going to be there in a very short period of time. Mm-hmm. And I really like the idea of the calling out locations because we can, right now we have drivers calling them out manually. That's behind times too because most systems are set up that they're automated already. We're looking to automate it as well. We can add more locations so people who are on the bus don't have to sit there and keep wondering where they are on the route. They can get a little more updates to know where they are. So if they're not really paying as much attention, typically when drivers are calling out stops, you can't really hear them well enough either. So that's a problem depending on which drivers are calling it out. So this will make that communication a lot better too as well for the riders. So it should really be a huge benefit for the passengers.
Okay. So assuming that we approve this, is there going to be a big social media push then to let people know that we're on the bigger systems?
Oh yeah, definitely. It'll be something that we'll get out there, and we'll want people to know that we have. So.
Okay.
Hey, just real quick here, because probably from that side it wasn't obvious. There is a guest that came in for the meeting, and I wanted to just make you aware of that as you're going through the items. She's got a question on this item and the next, so I didn't want you to get off before offering that up. And I'll just paraphrase for this one. I think on the Passio Go item, she was looking for when is the go live date if we do this, right? Yeah. When would it be usable?
Yeah, so we would talk about implementation in January. So, you know, conservatively by the end of March, the end of the first quarter. Yep, this coming January. Mm-hmm. So it is we do want to keep the expense in 2022 because of the grant. So we would start up with it in January.
Thanks, sorry to interrupt. I just figured you probably didn't realize.
Yep. Okay, is there any further discussion on this action item? Okay, hearing none, then we could take a motion.
Kneebone will move approval of the purchase of the Passio Go add-on.
Peterson, second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mary. Did I hear a second by Carolyn?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Okay, those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Move to agenda item number 7, which is approval to move forward with late night transit service changes. So I think that was the last item in the packet that Talon sent out. Talon, do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, so, if you received and reviewed in the late night changes, to kind of put it briefly, because of low ridership on Thursday nights historically, in the whole entire program, we're looking to take those hours and move them to Friday and Saturday. So then taking that late night, having it start at 6:30, we do have 2 buses on that one route. And then, you'll also see notes about it becoming a high frequency route, which is something we haven't really done before. So that is when we have 2 buses on one route, they can just run as fast as they can. So nobody's waiting on a bus more than 15 minutes. But then you don't really need time stops because the next bus is going to be there in 15 minutes. These proposals were brought through SGA, the Student Life and Academic Affairs. It was talked at, and the Senate actually passed a motion in favor at SGA in favor of these changes. So I know we have a question here, and if you have any other questions.
I just want to know what the changes are. I don't ride the bus. I'm not even sure what the current times are because I know it changes every couple of years. So. Yeah,
so currently that late night route, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it starts at 10. So now it's going to be Friday and Saturday, and start at 6:30, and that goes around the downtown and campus
what
area.
Is the daytime route?
The daytime route on campus runs 7 to 10.
So what is the 6:30 overlap?
Oh, currently the daytime, so the campus, the campus route runs until 10 p.m. and normally late night would start up at 10 p.m. on Thursday, Friday. Now what we're going to do is we're cutting off campus earlier, and at 6:30 is basically when it's going to end on Friday, because there is no Thursday anymore. And late night's going to start up. So what we're giving the students the capability of doing is that it's not just about going out late at night at 10 o'clock. We can wait until that time comes into play. They can go down at 6:30 already, start maybe use the downtown businesses as a place to socialize, eat, whatever they want to do earlier in the evening instead of waiting till the late hours. Thursday wasn't generating much ridership. At the time, we had very little ridership on Thursdays. And so when SGA and us, we all agreed that if we moved the hours to Friday, we could generate maybe some more ridership, even out of the students that are just in the dorms. Because right now, late night obviously set up for people who are 21 and older, typically, or going out to the downtown to the bars. And this should generate some more activity out of the students just in the dorms if they just want to get out and about and get a chance to, get downtown or wherever they want. So that was the idea behind the 6:30. That's where we're cutting it off. We're cutting off the evening bus service that started up at 6, that ran all the way to 10 o'clock, and now that's been cut off. And that the 10 o'clock, what that bus service was is it picked up students and it brought them to campus for classes. So from 6:30 to 10 o'clock, it literally was picking up students and bringing them to classes. There wasn't a lot of ridership at those times anymore. We weren't getting a lot of students using the evening bus service. So we're pulling the late night into early evening and getting them downtown instead.
Is the difference between the evening and the late night the frequency of the buses, or?
Yep, that's one of the differences, is the frequency and then just where they're going. The daytime and evening was set up to go to class, where this other one is late night set up to bring them from campus to downtown to shopping.
Oh, okay, so there was campus buses that didn't go downtown, they just stayed on campus.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, I assumed all buses stopped downtown at some point, like I said, I don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the rest of them do.
Okay.
But this is
makes
just
more
the
sense.
campus
Thank you.
service. Perfect.
And the campus buses were targeted for apartment complexes. So it's picking up people over by Scaffidi's or Evergreen Apartments by Spash and bringing them to campus for classes. So that's what the university buses were. So we're making a transition to the late night to get them downtown now.
So Talon, the hours are similar but different. Does that change our agreement with the university then for next year? Or does that start now, or are we planning that in January?
So this would start up in January. So
Okay.
It would start in January. I guess you could say, yeah, it does change the agreement in the way that it's written, but the financial amount is not going to change. Because even with breaks and everything, the campus is charged for it's the amount of service that we're providing them, the hours of service, and that's not going to change for their actual drive time. So it will be kind of an even move across the board for them.
Have you had discussions, Talon, with any university officials about the proposed changes?
Yeah, I haven't had discussions. I have reached out to staff, to university officials, but most of our discussions have been between us and SGA, which is who our agreement is through, is SGA specifically. So I sent out emails and blasts for staff members, but no one's reached back out to me with questions. Yeah.
Has SGA responded?
Yes, SGA actually passed a motion in their Senate in favor of the change.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for that insight.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question.
Okay, are there any further questions on the information Talon's provided?
One more. You said it's 21 and older, is that a rule, or is that just typically what was?
No, anyone can use the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes a lot of sense to start it a little earlier. As you say, it allows folks that maybe don't want to go to the bar, but just want to go downtown with some friends and get something to eat. So I think probably the downtown business folks will appreciate it as well, because they might get a little bit more business from the students. Perhaps not so rowdy as late night folks are. So thanks for looking into this and analyzing the needs and bringing things forward. Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And ultimately, that's what we're getting at is, if we see, people aren't using the bus here and they're using the bus here, we really just want this to be safe ride homes for university students and something that serves the community. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay, we can entertain a motion then.
This is Keppel. I will move that we approve the changes to the late night bus schedule.
Stephen, second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Greg and a second by Carolyn. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next agenda item is the next meeting date. Looks like we're lined up for Monday, December 13th at 4:45 p.m. That worked for most people. Okay, great. And then just a reminder that in December, well, at the end of November, in December, we have the Free Friday rides. That's your opportunity to get out and ride our system and see what it looks like. So, so with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. It's I'm not even sure what time it is, 5:16. Thanks everybody for attending.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.